This is Ezekiel Drews, host of Podcast, A Star Wars Story. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
What's up, everybody? This is Christian Heimel, host of Press Row here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Press Row, where we talk about the biggest issues in sports with the analysts, experts, and reporters who cover them. No nonsense, hard-hitting interviews on the sports topics you're talking about. A new show comes out every single Thursday. And don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Press Row. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
And welcome to tonight's Loud and Proud. I'm your host, Nicole Kelly. I myself was born with only one hand, and I've spent the past few years of my life traveling and speaking at schools and universities across the country on the topic of disability. Loud and Proud is a show about disability, by disability, and for disability. As always, thanks to Public House Media for providing us with a platform to have this show. Do you live with a disability? If so, hello, and welcome to a place where you can get connected to experts in our community and find thought leaders who are making changes and speaking out. Remember to hit subscribe. If you subscribe to the Public House Media page, you will absolutely be notified every Monday night when Loud and Proud goes live on Facebook. For those of you who are listening, be sure to hit the subscribe button on your app, as you'll want to hang out with me and all my cool friends next Monday as well. Yet again, feel free to share this if anything me or my guest says resonates with you. The goal of this show is to educate, and the more people who watch, the more people we can educate through the awesome power of conversation. So enough of me and enough of an intro. Let's get to today's guest. Coming from Dare2Tri, we bring with us Mr. Dan Turn. Hello, welcome.
Hey, everybody.
Dan, can you tell us, first of all, where you are, is always the first question I ask, and a little bit about your involvement in the disability community?
Sure. I'm actually in my house on the north side of Chicago right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and been with Dare2Tri since the start. I'm one of the co-founders and the program coordinator. But yeah, been here since 2011 with Dare2Tri. So
for those of us who are watching and Dare2Tri doesn't mean anything to us, what is the mission? What is the goal of Dare2Tri? What are you guys doing?
Yeah, so Dare2Tri is a non-for-profit. We are an adaptive sports organization, and basically our mission is to positively impact the lives of people that have either a physical disability or a visual impairment through the sport of triathlon. So swimming, biking, and running.
Amazing. And how long ago did your involvement come to be, and why and how did your involvement come to be?
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting story. I kind of fell into adaptive sports just through volunteering, and I was a former middle school teacher, and through volunteering with the Chicago Park District, I kind of fell in love with adaptive sports, and I kind of changed careers and worked for the Park District for a while, coaching various adaptive sports, and
cool.
Met a couple friends through that community. Two of the co-founders, Carrie Sirota and Melissa Stockwell. Carrie Sirota was working with another adaptive sports organization, Great Lakes Adaptive Sports, and Melissa Stockwell, who's an above-the-knee amputee, was training for the paratriathlon world championships. And this was back in 2010, I think. Cool. So we just kind of decided to join forces and give paratriathlon a shot, just as another program to offer for people in the community. And it just took off from there. We we applied for a small grant with U.S. Paralympics to offer our first like clinic sort of camp, like 5 people, and then just kind of blew up from there to where we had to form our own 501c3 and just kind of grow as an organization.
Absolutely. So you yourself don't live with a disability. I am wondering, when you started to work with adaptive sports, as you started to learn how these athletes moved, how they worked, how they swam, how they adapted,
Mm-hmm.
what was that experience like for you, kind of observing and watching the adaptations?
Sure. Yeah, when I was first introduced to it, I mean, I just thought it was pretty cool. I mean, it was just, I was kind of volunteering with like wheelchair basketball and softball and things like that. And like, to me, just growing up in sports and athletics, I just love seeing competition. I didn't necessarily see it differently. I mean, the equipment that was being used obviously was different, but it was sport. It was still people going out there and competing and working hard and enjoying the community that sport brings. And I think that was pretty cool to see. I thought the adaptations were interesting. People with that are working with a disability, might have different equipment or things that they need to kind of figure out to participate. And but it's just a way to actually participate, to compete. So I thought that was cool, and I think just getting involved was just was important because just to bring the awareness to adaptive sports and to just give people that have disabilities and maybe run into barriers with the expensive equipment, kind of like an opportunity to get out there and recreate.
Yeah, I feel like you kind of just answered this question, but I'm gonna ask it anyway.
Sure.
Why do you think it's important to have a community for specifically adaptive sport?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's important. I think, people who don't have a disability, like say myself, for instance, I think we take things for granted. Like if we, say if I wanted to go out for a run, just throw on my shoes and just kind of head out there. Whereas someone that might have, an amputation that needs a specific prosthetic leg to go for a jog, or if they have a spinal cord injury, if they want to go for a jog, they need a whole nother piece of equipment, such as a racing wheelchair. And those things are very expensive. And so, that provides, or that, gives some limitations on what people may be able to participate in. And so I think it's important for our organization and other adaptive sports organizations out there to help give those opportunities. And everyone should have the right to recreate and get out there and be active.
Yeah, I love it. I totally agree. And of course, it goes without saying, I love the work that Dare2Tri is doing. I, of course, as we know, I was recently introduced in the fall, and so I'm slowly getting to know people kind of here in Chicago that are part of Dare2Tri. I'm wondering if you can tell us maybe a story about somebody who you have met through Dare2Tri that you have watched either maybe grow into themselves, or you've watched them kind of change in a cool way. What people maybe have inspired you or taught you something through your time at Dare2Tri?
Yeah. The person that comes to mind right off the bat is this girl named Kelly.
Yeah.
Kelly Schultz. I'm going to put her on the spot here. She just started with us. It's been a couple years now. And I know that she was involved in some other adaptive sports before that, but she was really nervous getting into like a racing chair. She's a wheelchair user. So getting into a racing chair it could be a little nerve wracking. It's a very technical piece of equipment. And so she was definitely interested in it, but I think the confidence wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think by coming to some of our practices, one of our large camps that we have over the summer, just seeing other people that are kind of going out there and as nerve-wracking as it can be, are still kind of just jumping right in and taking a stab at it and just kind of just being persistent and practicing and things like that. And I think she saw that and just really enjoyed being around that community and getting some training tips and things like that from people that may have a similar disability to her. And it just gave her that confidence to kind of stick with it. And she's, she did her first triathlon last year, and she's been, planning 5K races this year. And I mean, she's constantly texting me and asking me about certain races and stuff that she wants to get into. But I mean, that's awesome. And that's exactly what we want. We want to see that growth, not just physically, but, on the mental side and gaining that confidence. So
awesome. Amazing. With that being said, you mentioned camps. Can you tell us more about what's on the horizon? What does the year look like for Dare2Tri? What's going on?
Yeah. So we're starting to ramp up. Our registrations for all of our big events and camps have gone online. So so we've got 3 big camps during the year. We do an injured military camp early June, and then we do a 3-day adult camp the weekend right after that, and then that's up in Wisconsin, and then we do a kids camp in July. So so those are 3 big fun opportunities for people to get involved, not just people that have physical disabilities or visual impairments to get involved in the sport, but also volunteers as well to kind of see what we do and kind of train alongside these athletes.
So are these camps specifically, give us a rundown. What's a day like if I go to one of these camps?
Yeah. So most of our camps are, they're about 2 or 3 days in length. And like the first 2 days are all kind of clinic based. So we go through either pool swimming or open water swimming. We'll do some sort of bike component. And then running as well, or wheelchair racing, pushing. And so that takes place over the 2 days. We do some talks on nutrition and things like that as well. But then we typically finish our last day of the camp with our own, we call it the triathlon. So it's a smaller, kind of like a super sprint distance triathlon, and it's kind of fun. We let people kind of pick their own distances and what are they really comfortable with, and just to kind of go out there and put all three sports together and just kind of have a good time.
Awesome, amazing.
Yeah.
What are you? Is Dare2Tri hosting specific like triathlons for these athletes? Are you guys where are people competing? Maybe is the question I'm trying to ask.
Yeah. So we are Chicago based, but we do have athletes that participate like all over the country, all over the world. It kind of depends on your experience level and kind of what your goals are. We do partner up with a lot of local race directors, and for instance, like the Chicago Triathlon is a big weekend for us, and we've worked with them for probably 6 or 7 years. And what we love about it is the triathlon community is very inclusive. So we're Dare2Tri athletes are competing alongside, able-bodied age group athletes, or, there could be elite pro athletes out there, and they're all sharing the same course, which is what we love about the sport. It's cool. Naturally, it's very inclusive. So, but then we also have, some athletes that are at the elite level, and their goal is to, shoot for the Paralympic Games. And so, we had last year in Rio that the paratriathlon made its debut there as a sport. So we had a few athletes competing at Rio, and
awesome.
We'll hopefully have some competing in Tokyo in 2022. So
How cool is that? Dang.
Yeah. It's impressive. We were able to join them in Rio in 2016, and that was such an awesome experience, just to kind of see the sport debut, really, and then see our athletes competing at the biggest stage in the world. So
yeah, can you tell me a little bit more about that? Like, what do you even feel in that moment when the race starts and people who are racing and you're in Rio?
Yeah, it's I mean, the whole experience went pretty fast. I mean, we were able to see some other Paralympic sports
Sure.
going on too, but yeah, we were on Copacabana Beach and watching some of these athletes that we've started with since the beginning, since they first started running, and now they're competing against the best in the world, and a few of our female athletes medaled. So that was a pretty surreal experience, and to see that live and to share that experience with them was incredible. So again, goosebumps thinking about it again.
Yeah. And are you going to be able to make the journey then to the next? Are you going
to Tokyo? To Tokyo. That would be awesome. It's an expensive trip.
I
for
bet.
anyone, for spectators or athletes and stuff. But yeah, so we have some time to kind of see who's going to make Team USA, and hopefully we can get over there. That would be awesome.
Amazing. Cool.
Yeah.
What is next for Dare2Tri?
Great question. I mean, we're still growing. I think, we are reaching individuals at both the national and the international level too. But I think there's so many people just here in the Chicagoland area that we would love to connect with and just give them another outlet, just through sport, through the community of not just triathlon, but people that are out there recreating. So I think continuing our outreach here, and what else do we got going? We're going to start a new Learn to Swim program, adaptive Learn to Swim program next month. So we're pretty excited about that. Currently, there's not an adaptive Learn to Swim program in the city, so this would be the first, and it's cool. Exciting to be a part of that. Yeah,
amazing. I am a mom wandering through Facebook, and I accidentally come across this, and I happen to have a child who has a disability, and I happen to live in Chicago. Where can I find you? Where can I learn more? How do I get active with you guys?
Sure. I would say the easiest thing to do is to get more information is to check out our website. So it's
I'll put it down below here.
Awesome. Cool. It's down below.
It's down there.
Dare2Tri.org. So it has kind of all of our weekly events, practices, things like that, as well as our larger clinics and camps. So we have a multi-sport clinic coming up on March 3rd. So I think that's a great opportunity to kind of see what we do, and it's all ability levels are welcome, and
all age levels.
And all age levels. Yep.
Cool.
We don't really have an age limit. So as young as you are and as old as you can be, come on out and visit. So that's the website's a great place. My contact information is on there as well. So any questions you have, feel free to reach out.
Amazing. Is there anything else you would like to add? Anything that I missed? I do know one thing. We have to give a shout out to Liz. What's up, Liz?
I think our organization is just a great way for anyone, whether you want to volunteer, if you have family, friends, with or without disabilities. We love the inclusion of our organization and just getting people involved, and you don't have to be this diehard triathlete to be involved with us. we would kind of welcome people that might just be interested in the like the social aspect of it too. So,
Sure.
So if you know anyone that might be interested, reach out to us.
Amazing. Dan, thank you so much for sharing your time with us tonight. It certainly is wonderful to hang out in your space and to be able to hear more about Dare2Tri and what's going on. Again, if you are looking to find that information, here is the website, and you can find all of Dan's information there in order to connect with him. But with that, thank you once again to Public House Media for allowing us a space to share our stories. And again, thank you, Dan, for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Totally.